And we are live. 3 videos in 2 days. Aren't you a lucky lot? Welcome back to Beyond the 90, ladies and gentlemen. We've got a fantastic group of guests for you today. We've got Ant, pretty much regular family on the channel. We've got Tom. Tom, for the first time, it's been ages, mate. How are you doing, man?
Yeah, good, mate. Yeah, good. I've just been avoiding Leicester talk at all costs, but yeah, no, I'm back from the dead. Yeah, there we
And
go.
you have a very special T-shirt as well. That is,
I
yeah.
do. It's
You
too
want to
tight now.
model that for us?
It's too tight. I'm boiling, but yeah, it's the 9-0. It's the 9-0, which I was actually there for. I don't get to many games, but I happened to go to that game, so yeah, I might as well milk it.
Terrible weather, Tom, was it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it took us about an hour to find the car after, just walking around in the piss and rain, but it was worth it for a 9-0 win. So yeah, happy days.
I was going to say, imagine if you were the opposite way around, you got smashed 9-0 and you had to go to your home ground and watch that in that weather. No wonder they left early. Do you know, I totally get that. Yeah. And also we got Mark as well. Mark, again, great to have you back on. How are you doing?
Yeah, good, man. I'm enjoying the fact football's back. It's been a long, long summer. Bit of a weird season this season, isn't it? But no, I'm good, even despite the travesty of Sunday. I feel pretty positive about going to Arsenal and getting some in.
I'm glad you are, because I'm not going to lie. But anything's possible with Leicester City again. Myself, and we're going down, aren't we, to the Arsenal ground? 35 degrees. God.
I want to know what excuses he's going to use this week if he knows he knows it's going to be 35 degrees. I reckon we're going to try and just boot the ball long every time, like we do when we play the Big Six, and he'll still moan about fatigue afterwards. But
can I just say special shout out to Ant, because I've been following your videos all summer. You're doing transfer videos all the time, and I feel for you, bro. I do.
You could do it. Alex Smithies reveal now.
It's painful. It is absolutely painful because it's just Maddison linked to Newcastle, Fofana linked to Chelsea. And it's like if you believe all the links, we're going to start the season with a 5-a-side team and without a goalkeeper, probably without a manager.
Well, yeah, we'll have to see, because again, I don't know how you've done it. I've stayed so quiet on a lot of it. I mean, we finally had that Benjamin Bourigeaud player, and I went, fine, let's just do a transfer video, and then after that, nothing happened, because I was like, there's nothing to report.
It might as well have been Benjamin Button for all we're looking for. Like, seriously.
Legit. It was like, oh my god. Anyway, we'll get straight into the news. So again, we're going to go through the press conference as part of this as well. Some interesting stuff. Some new news, as probably heard from Mark as well. Potentially a new goalkeeper on the way, and then we'll talk a little bit about Arsenal. We might have a little bit of a found sofa score about some of the positional play, which is quite interesting, of the Brentford game. But first thing first, Tom, he was saying, Brendan Rodgers says, in terms of Arsenal, good squad, good players. It's going to be a hell of a test, in my opinion. And I think one player in particular we've not seen, and this for me, this is going to be the test. I was saying this against Brentford. Danny Ward, this is the test for him. Is he good enough to be the number one against the top six? I think this is his biggest test to date. I don't think he's played against a bigger club than Arsenal at Leicester.
Maybe in the odd cup game, but yeah, not in a Premier League game, which is a different, it's a whole different matter. But yeah, with Arsenal, I mean, just looking at them, obviously I wasn't sure about Arteta for a while, but and they got to a terrible start last season, but they're progressing, and it's really funny. They're showing how, like, just a couple of positive signings can sort of lift the whole club. Like, they were already improving, looking like a strong team, but. They bring in Jesus and Zinchenko from Man City, and both pretty. They spent money, both pretty good signings, but the lift that's given them and given their fan base is huge. It's like, it's almost worth more than the quality of the players themselves. And I think you contrast that with us, and it's like, I don't think that we've got pretty much the same team that we did 2 seasons ago when we finished 5th. We in terms of our actual starting 11, we don't really have that much to worry about, but we don't have that positivity like around the club. And I think that's among the fan base. It's probably like Rodgers as well. And also the players. I think when you come back to training in the summer, you come back to pre-season, and you see a couple of players who, are quality, are going to test you for your position, are going to lift the club, take you forwards. It's the feeling that it gives. It's not just the impact that they can have on the pitch. And I think the contrast between them and us in that regard is quite strong. I'm not saying we can't go there and get something, but you know, it is going to be difficult. It's going to be a test. Our defense weren't tested for 60 minutes against Brentford. We were tested for half an hour, and let's be fair, they pretty much failed miserably. Like, it wasn't, they didn't withstand the pressure that we were put under, and I think we all know that's probably Rodgers' fault as much as anyone else's. But so it is going to be a test. So how are we going to play? In the past we've often been stronger on the counter attack, or that's played into our hands. But yeah, let's see, man. I don't know, but I think with them away and with Chelsea away at the start of the season, we could really do it picking up some points from somewhere. So I'm hopeful.
I'm hopeful too. Again, just let's see what happens. Crazy things have happened to Leicester City. We've all seen that again. And Mark, I think in terms of, just to follow on what Tom was saying, I mean, in terms of this, I just want to go, right, all the pressure's on Arsenal. You spent all the money. You spent all of this. We're going to your ground. We've never won there before. I can't remember the last time. I can't think about
we
last
won
time
there. Cengiz Under played it to Vardy, didn't he? 2 seasons ago.
Oh, yeah. God, I forgot that one completely. Yeah, 1-0. Yeah, but again, in terms of that, I think all the pressure's on them to perform, especially with, again, Saliba's coming in, and we know with Fofana how good of a signing he is. If he's a similar kind of player, Zinchenko, Jesus as well. I mean, all the pressure is going to be on them for this game.
Yeah, it is. But, at the same time, Arsenal fans are a bit weird, aren't they? So, they're a sort of fan base that they think they're going to win the league because they've won the first game. But as soon as a team applies a bit of pressure on them, it wouldn't take much to get on the front foot against them. I guess I worry for us at the moment, because I think a lot of our challenge is mental rather than a physical challenge. The 2-0 to 2-2 against Brentford was a mental collapse, really, brought on by the manager, absolutely, with his decision making. But at the same time, I don't think we've got anything to fear to go to Arsenal. I think our 11 stands up to their 11, and I'd be surprised if we didn't give them a really good game. I think Tom said absolutely before about the mindset of Arsenal is really positive, and the fans are really going for it this season, and we maybe don't have that. But I don't think with this early doors of the season, it would take too much for that to sort of change. So yeah, my positivity bus is here, lads. So jump on.
Fair enough. Again, in terms of that, I just think, and we're going to the game, we'll have to see how it goes. But I think, somebody's already in the comments saying about, I'll hand over straight to the first point. Smith, I can't say his name. Smithies. It just reminds me of Gavin and Stacey. That's all I'm thinking when I hear that. You were saying
it makes me think of The Simpsons and Mr. Burns' little sidekick Smithers.
So for those of you that haven't seen it so far, let me just try and find my 400 tabs. So it's this one as well. So essentially, John Percy is pretty much one of the most reliable guys in the game. Leicester City are close on Alex Smithy. So talks of a free move for a free transfer. 32-year-old was at trial at AFC Bournemouth. I think Bournemouth turned him down. But however, again, they're looking for Vestergaard and Samari, potential exits as well. However, and in general, I don't think this is too much to be worried about, to be perfectly honest.
No, I've seen meltdowns on it on social media, and it seems like meltdowns for the sake of a meltdown. But yeah, it's a third choice keeper who's on significantly less money than what Jakupovic was before. So he probably won't even play a minute for us, if we're completely honest. So
didn't I read that we just want a third place keeper so that we can send the Polish chap out on loan? Sorry, I don't want to mispronounce his name.
Solarcic?
I'll let you butcher it, Neil. Yeah. So, if he's third choice keeper, who cares at the end of the day? Who cares?
Yeah, he's bench warmer, basically. So, and look at Jakupovic. He was basically, I just want to know if he's a good lad and he's going to get on with the rest of the players. Literally, that's all you are. They're just there as a squad player. So I'm not too bothered, but people are having a meltdown. It's third keeper. It genuinely doesn't matter.
No. But to be fair, it's I'll be a good lad if you stick me on 12k a week in the dressing room. I'll be a good lad for everyone. And if I don't have to play, so I think I've chosen the wrong job.
Didn't we all have it? Was it Scott Carson? Or was there another guy that was just fourth keeper at Man City?
Scott Carson, then Rob Green at Chelsea. There's loads of keepers that are just finished, but they're just there to make up. Partly it'll be part of the English quota, which we don't need to worry about this year because we're not in Europe. But it's partly that, and partly the fact he's never going to play. He's on low wages, and I bet you he feels like he's won the lottery, having just failed a trial at Bournemouth to end up here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think so. Again, so in terms of that, I mean, we just got to get on with it. I mean, in terms of people again having a bit of a meltdown, I don't see there's any point in having a meltdown over it because he's not going to play. It's not like he's come in to challenge Danny Ward and Daniel Everson. There just isn't the competition at the moment. I mean, he's rejected by Bournemouth, and then so he's ahead. So it's just to fill the quota. However, Tom, I never see the point in the third keeper personally. It's just in case of emergency, break glass and release third keeper. Really.
Yeah, I remember it didn't happen at Chelsea like years ago, where like when I can't remember who they had maybe Czech and someone else.
Reading.
Reading,
was it?
Yeah, maybe where they just ended up having to throw their third keeper and everyone is like, "Who's this guy?" sort of thing. It's so rare that that's ever gonna happen. Like, yeah, but I think it's probably just that you're sat there waiting for a signing all season, and the first signing happens to be Smithies. It's more the kind of the insult of that that's what we've been waiting for. I think and he's not going to play. Who cares? But it would be nice to actually sign a proper player at some point. Like, yeah,
definitely. And just to go on some of the other bits as well, Mark. Something that Brendan Rodgers would decide said was going to happen. It's not happened. It was going to happen this week, but it hasn't happened. Vice captain is still undecided. Brendan Rodgers came out in the press conference. I mean, so we've got Johnny Evans as the main captain after Schmeichel's left. Who would you say would be your vice captain at the moment?
I'd have Dewsbury Hall as vice captain. I think he's he could sort of. I think he's captain material first and foremost. I know he's a young guy, hasn't played that many games, but I think the luxury is Evans isn't going to play every game, so it's almost like a soft entry into the role. I really like Dewsbury Hall. I think he's going to be here for his career, so why not? Who else is there?
Yeah. For me, I've kind of got this thing of I think Vardy can be vice captain because of the leadership equality, and I love Dewsbury Hall. And I don't know if I'm the only one thinking this, but I think Dewsbury Hall is just a little bit too soon. I don't want to there's so much pressure on him from Leicester fans, maybe not from the outside, but other players are starting to take notice. We saw this with Harvey Barnes, where not the pressure got to him, but I just don't want to put extra pressure on him when there doesn't need to be. So I'd potentially give it to Vardy, and then in the future, then give it to him as well.
Yeah, potentially. I think he's ready now, though. I think if you're good enough, you're old enough, aren't you? And I just think it's something else that make him care that little bit more. I get it. I get what people would say around that, but he's my choice, and he's got the vice captain's armband for me.
Yeah, no problem. I know you got to jump off, Mark, but I've left a link in the description to your podcast and your Twitter. But feel free to plug away before you.
Yeah, sorry, lads. I'm having some problems with my child upstairs. But she's my child as well. I'm not just a random child I've got upstairs.
Not Ant.
On that note, I'm going. I'll see you later.
No worries. See you later.
Nice one.
Okay, he's literally gone, and we'll remove him as well. As part of that as well. So I'll keep it that way. But yeah, in terms of getting all my things wrong. Yeah, and what do you think? Dewsbury Hall too soon, or do you think you give it to Jamie Vardy, or is there somebody else in the picture?
I'll say Dewsbury Hall's too soon. As much as we all love him, he's been a first team fixture for half a season. Let him develop his game, let him keep improving, and then maybe in a few years' time, then for sure. For me, I'd say as long as this contract is signed, I'd say James Maddison. He's always been a natural leader on the pitch, and it's one of those. With Vardy, I think we're going to have a very similar situation to Evans, where he's not going to play every game. So I think it's sort of, whilst giving it to Vardy, you just put yourself in the same corner that you put yourself in with Evans, of the fact that, they're great players and all of that, and great leaders, but they still might not always be on the pitch. With Maddison, if he's fit, he plays.
Yeah, and that's pretty much that. And also, he's not had that dip in form, Tom, that we've seen previously, where Maddison's gone on a really hot run and he's come down. I think he was quiet for the first couple of months or so, and ever since then he's come back from preseason. He's looked hot once again, so he just keeps hitting those levels. And I mean, what are your thoughts on the vice captain?
I would probably go Vardy just because, you know, he's coming to the end of his time here. It's not the most important role in the world, but at the same time, it's sort of like a nod to, you know, to his status of the club and everything he's done for us. And like, I think he does lead by example on the pitch a bit in terms of the work rate he puts in, and then this sort of never say die attitude. And he's at the end of the day, who's left out of those that have done everything for us, won everything for us? It's sort of like Vardy and Albrighton. They're the only two that are left. So I think you kind of need that, because it's hard not to cling on to what happened. What is it now? 5-6 years ago? That's still a massive part of who we are now, and like it should be. We shouldn't just forget about it. And like the FA Cup win and everything. So it's only Albrighton and Vardy have been through that, and people who play for the club or come to the club need to understand that is there. That's happened. Like, and they achieved that by setting certain standards, having a certain amount of continuity and camaraderie in the team, and having this passion for playing for Leicester. I think we've lost that a little bit, like with people's heads being turned, and with like, I don't know, us kind of stagnating a little bit, and like I think we have lost that a little bit, and Casper was a massive part of that. So I think we do, while we still can, like we've only got a couple of years left, 1 or 2 years left of having anyone who was associated with that time of the club. So I feel like Vardy or Albrighton, but obviously with Albrighton not really being a member of the first 11 at all at the moment, I think, yeah, it needs to be one of them two just for that reason.
Fair enough. Again, sorry, I think you cut out a little bit at the end there, but all good. No, definitely agree. But again, there's the thing is, we've got options. It's not like, but I agree with you in terms of what it means to be a Leicester City player. I'm bang on the money with you. And apparently, I think I've heard behind the scenes a little bit that Jamie Vardy was kicking off at Wesley Fofana about the transfer, about his signing a contract, and he was the first one to go up to him and go, "What the hell are you doing? If you don't want to be at the club, then don't be here. But don't sign a contract." It's quite in the face, which is I like to see as a player that's just like, right, give him an extra. You want to see a player again that represents your club, and he's been here for 10 years now. I think 10 years. This 11th season at Leicester City now. So Jamie Vardy is that player. But again, it's interesting to see the dynamic between him and Daka, and even Iheanacho, who's kind of been forgotten about as well, and what the strike force is going to look like. One other piece, and as that I've got. Set Peach coach finally they've decided to get one in, but again we've left it till the season started, and there's still visa issues, so we're still waiting on that. But I mean, it's a good sign that we're finally getting somebody in to try and sort set pieces. I was speaking to Babs yesterday, and he was saying that we have something to mention at 9 o'clock when you go live on with Babs as well. They had a specialist sets Pete coach in for Arsenal, and they've been phenomenal since he's come in. So I don't know how good this guy is. Don't know anything about him. All I know, he's got visa issues. He's not from the UK, so we will have to see. But I'm just hoping that this gets sorted soon, because maybe we can start defending corners.
It can't be much worse than it was last year, can it? So it's got to be an improvement. And to be fair, first game of the season, we did look more solid than we have done for a while from them, scoring from a corner from Castagne. And I know we love him, but Schmeichel was a huge issue from corners last year, being glued to his goal line. Danny Ward commanded that six-yard box very well. And as we've said before, it's one thing doing it at the King Power against Brentford. It's when you go to these big grounds and doing it against maybe not even like the top clubs, but these grounds like the Emirates, which I know is not the most intimidating, but where there is like 60,000 people there, they're all Arsenal fans and stuff. Going to Old Trafford, going to Anfield, you know what I mean. But it's two different things. Like, because he did it against he did it well at Watford at Vicarage Road, but that was half empty, and again already relegated Watford. You've hit the nail on the head with what you said yesterday with your chat with Babs. By the way, check it out, guys, if you haven't already. Really worth watching. I'm so shameless. It is awful. But
it's
tomorrow,
it's the channel, mate. You're allowed to plug it. Anyway, yeah, feel free to go.
But it's a complete. Saturday's the first real test he's going to have in terms of being a Premier League keeper for us, because obviously they've got threats all over the front, their front five really, and it's away from home at a ground but we don't particularly travel well for. So I think he's going to have like a good game, and we're going to be under sustained periods of pressure.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And it's a big test for a lot of our players coming into this game as well. Mark, coming into, obviously, I think a couple of the players, obviously Brennan did get the tactics wrong in terms of after 60 minutes taking in my opinion, the wrong player off in Dewsbury Hall. But I think a player that was at fault again, as much as we got the Ghanaian excellence, I think he was at fault for both goals as well, to be perfectly honest with you. Playing on that right-hand side of a back three, going into this game, because it looks like we're going to set up with a similar formation because we've got no Harvey Barnes, he's still out injured. On that right, do you keep at Marte or do you switch over and you try and play Soyuncu in that left-hand channel?
It was the left side, wasn't it? For me, Soyuncu has always played there on the left side of the three. I wonder at the weekend how much of it was Brendan Rodgers sort of playing up to the owners to say, look, I haven't got the players. That's why I've only made one substitution. That's why I've put Amati in the left centre-back channel when he shouldn't have been at all. You know, for me, he was at fault for both goals. And he was far too deep and got the wrong side on the first goal. And the second goal, the guy just wandered in from really where KDH would have been if it had been on the field. So that compounded that a little bit. But Soyuncu is a better central defender than Daniel Amati for me. I don't know why he wasn't playing on the first game of the season, but he has to start for me against Arsenal. I don't think we're a million miles off. I think I've got to say, I thought the first 60 minutes against Brentford was champagne football. The last 30 minutes was flat Prosecco rather than champagne. But, you know, we were about there. It's just the mentality went, and that's as simple as that.
Yeah, I think instead of it was more of a flat, lukewarm shandy in the last 30 minutes. Pretty much that's 2.5
stadium for £6 a pint.
Yeah. Now with frictionless checkout. Yeah, no, definitely agree. Did Tom, again, in terms of that, I think another, as you're saying, would you play Soyuncu on the left? But also, I was thinking as well, just now, potentially playing James Justin on that left. He could do something. Then playing Thomas out wide. I'd prefer doing that than putting Daniel Amati on that left of a back three. He's done it on the right of a back three before. I think the Man City game was a great example of it when they played Soyuncu on the left, Evans through the middle, and then him on the right, Daniel Rice on the right. But on the left, he just didn't work.
I've got so much I could get off my chest from the weekend, and that honestly is like, where do you even start? And I was thinking the exact same thing in terms of maybe dropping Justin back there and putting Thomas there. I think if Ricardo didn't get injured, that was the plan, right? Like, was it maybe putting Castagna on the left, Ricardo on the right, and having Justin in the back three? Or I don't know exactly, but obviously he's had to change his plans.
Yeah, they didn't really play it in pre-season, I don't think. I think Brendan likes the 4 at the back, 4-2-3-1 or 4-3-3 formation.
Yeah, but the last game against Sevilla, Castagna, Justin, and Ricardo all played. I can't remember exactly how it worked in the system or whatever. But anyway, we had to change our plans now, yeah. I think Amati's a weird one, right? Because he's not really a right back. You wouldn't have him in the centre-back as a 2. So yeah, right centre back in a 3, just about, but like left of the 3. I mean, you're really scraping the barrel there. And like Amati, I know when we joke around and call him like the Ghanaian excellence and stuff, but he's like the cat with 9 lives. Like, how many times does the guy look like he doesn't have a chance of ever making his way back into the team, and then all of a sudden he's in our first 11 again? Like, the guy's unbelievable. Like, he just hangs on. And I don't know, like I do agree Soyuncu's a better defender. I do wonder whether he was partly at fault for conceding loads of goals from set pieces, as well as Schmeichel last season, and that's why we don't want to play him. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's all a bit of a mess. Personally, I'd rather just play 4 at the back. We've got Fofana, we've got Evans, you've got Castagna, and you've got Justin. That's a solid back 4. We don't need to play 3 at the back. So I would just do that. And that is apparently Rodgers' preferred formation. He's told us that loads of times. So why not just go with that back 4? I don't know. And then with the subs thing, just very quickly, like our bench is not bad. It's pretty strong, actually. And there's a lot of legs on the bench, like Albrighton, Dennis Pratt, I think looked good in pre-season. You've got Mendy if you want to shore things up a bit. Like, we've got options on the bench. To only use 1, and it was criminal. And for Brentford to use 5, that was a big reason on a hot day why they turned that game around, And so I think, and also if you're sat on that bench and you're looking at what's going on the pitch, you're seeing the game swing in momentum that much. You're seeing tired legs, and your manager's just doing nothing. He's not looking at you. What are you thinking? You're thinking, this guy clearly doesn't trust me. He doesn't want me. He doesn't want me on the pitch. Like, even just for like a morale thing, and like we're all in it together. Like, I trust you. It doesn't even make sense from that standpoint. So it was just wrong on so many levels, and hopefully he'll learn his lesson from that, because we got 5 subs and we got a decent squad, so we should use it. We should use it.
I think you were going to say something, Mark, weren't you, to Tom?
Yeah, I was just going to say, in terms of do we need to line up with a 5 or a 4? I think we could line up with a 4, and then a diamond in front of that, and then play Nacho alongside Vardy up at the top end of the field, which would give us still quite a lot of options in the final third if the wing backs could still get forward. It also gives the option of the defensive midfielder of the diamond dropping back to play the defensive mode as well. So I would agree we don't need to play a back 5, and it probably invites pressure on us a little bit more as well. But yeah, I wouldn't have had Daniel Amati starting. No disrespect to him, he's an absolute folk legend, isn't he, in Leicester? But it's a similar conversation to Mark Albrighton. Which point, when these guys are in the squad and in the lineup, do we just realise that we haven't progressed the way that we probably should have? And that's how it felt a little bit on Sunday.
Yeah, I think you're right as well. And in terms of that, also my point was going to be, Tom, in terms of if you play a back 4, then the only way you could do it is with the diamond. Because if you play with 4-3-3, then who are you going to play on that left-hand side? Because we have Barnes, and then that's it. Literally, we have nobody else. No Lookman, he's not here. I think he's gone to Atalanta as well. So there isn't really anybody from that. But I agree, the only way you do that is if you change to a back 4, and then you've got the wing. You got basically 4-4-2, but you got wing backs going as well. I mean, is there anything else you change, Ant? Because again, the 4 in midfield for 60 minutes, all of them seemed to click. I think it was too late for me. Wilfred and Diddy looked tired. Yuri Tillemans looked tired specifically. As Tom was saying, if you've got Dennis Pratt on the bench, why not give him a show? He was arguably, I think he's one of the best performers of pre-season as well.
Yeah. Well, you say is much will change. Can we start with the manager, or are we meant to ignore that one? But if I was Dennis Pratt, he said he's wanted to stay and fight for his place. To then see that, I'll be putting a transfer request in straight after that game, because it was so obvious. Fair enough, these players might be getting tired, but then to only bring on 1 sub, and it was a sub that you would bring on if you were chasing the game, throw another striker on, and sort of throw everything at them. 1 sub in 32 degrees, whilst Brentford brought 5 subs on. It's absolutely ridiculous. And it's like, if you're trying to send a message to the board, that's the wrong way of doing it, because you've just thrown 2 points away. And we've seen towards back end of the last few seasons how valuable 2 points could be. So I think it's ridiculous. And then I know a lot of Arsenal fans have been getting themselves stuck to their bed sheets with Brendan Rodgers' comments about their transfer window in terms of the signings that they've brought in. But I feel like that, again, is him sending, as much as he might be trying to big up the Arsenal players, I think that's him indirectly having shots at the Leicester board saying, look how much these signings can improve him. Well, Brendan, if you have a look at how much your signings improved us, Vestergaard and Bertrand have put us in a corner, so stop playing the victim.
What about Jose Perez, mate? I know you're a big fan of his, and that was one definitely that Brendan brought in.
It was, and I've been a big fan of Perez. I don't think he's good enough as a right winger, and he does need to move on. But at the same time, with Jose Perez, he's never going to get in as a number 10 because Maddison is levels above him. He's not going to get in as a second striker because Iheanacho's levels above him. He was signed as a right winger when he played something like 20 games in his career as a right winger before we brought him in like something like 300-400 down the middle. It's like a lot. I've said this a lot of times. Yeah. If we played Southampton every week, I wish Perez would be in. But
5 goals, is it? 6 goals we've got against him.
Against
Mate, he was brilliant that day.
Yeah, just shout out to Tom's t-shirt once again.
Yeah, but sorry, he scored a hat trick here. I'm looking at my t-shirt. He's there 3 times. I mean, yeah.
But it's one of those. It's like it's hard to have any sympathy for him when he's boxed himself into a corner. And then also some of the contract renewals as well have been absolutely ridiculous. And that's why we're stuck in this situation. But then to be trying to indirectly go at the board that has backed him more than any other manager we've had in the past, it's just like, I feel like he's looking for sympathy and to play the victim when in reality, a large part of it is his own doing.
Yeah, it's a little bit like the transfers. It's like a bit like the corner situation, I think, earlier on in the season where we just couldn't stop conceding from corners, pretty much 1 per game. And against Arsenal, again, I mentioned it to Babs, the fact that it was pretty much 2 goals. It was 2 goals exactly the same. Partly, again, it was down to tactics. Partly, it was down to Kasper coming off his line. But Brendan Rodgers go, we haven't had time to work on it. And it's like, well, you've had the summer now. Hopefully that should change. Then coming in something I can't believe we've not mentioned yet. Mark, Roger on Fofana, what's he called? The message to all our players is focus on the football, and there's a lot of speculation. But whereas he's a very talented player, he knows our thoughts on them, and I think he was basically saying that he's happy at Leicester at the moment and he's not for sale. However, again, there's a lot of speculation, and we hasn't seen it affect the group as well. So, I mean, that's got to be a positive sign, or is this something that Rodgers would say regardless? I think he said maybe the same thing about Harry Maguire before he left for 80 million.
Yeah, probably Chilwell as well. It seems to be the speech that he makes when we do sell a player actually that they're not for sale. So I'd be more worried about seeing him say that they're not for sale than that they are. I think for me with Fofana, we know he's a bit of a tart, don't we, when it comes to wanting to better his career. And I get that. You know, you get one career. He's 21 years old, and he probably wants to go and play Champions League football sooner rather than later. And I think probably when we signed him, he felt that could be with us because we were a lot closer at the time than we are now. Now we're a bit further away from it. And he is our standout player for me, certainly from the back end of the field. I felt it was like a Rolls Royce again on Sunday. And I can see that he wants to move. Personally, sort of his body language gave that off a little bit when he walked off on Sunday at the end of the match. He's going to want to do the best for him that he can do. But with that comes an expectation that we get the fee that we would want for him. And the more that Chelsea mess about with these bids that are below what we're asking, I think the price should be going up. And, I think we should be adding 5-10 million on every time a bid comes in. That's not what we want. I think 2 weeks ago, probably when you came on my show, I think I said I'd accept a world record bid, £85 million. I think now the price is 100 million. And if they keep messing us about, it'll be 110, 120. So, it's up to them now, I think, isn't it? If a real serious offer comes in of that sort of ilk, then I think we have to, as a club, consider it. I don't think you can replace him, though. No,
especially not in the time window that we've got. But I like Mark's interest rate going up more like the mafia, pretty much every. So it's another 10 million on now.
We're sleeping with the Fishers.
So yeah, pretty much. I mean, Tom, I know I've not had to talk to you about the Fofana situation as well. What are your thoughts on that as well?
My thoughts are it's more like the Mahrez situation where, all right, he didn't perform his best that last season, but at the end of the day, we need him more than we need the money right now. Maybe I know we do need money, but like his value is going to be pretty much the same next summer as it is this summer. The interest is still going to be there next summer as it is this summer, and we need the guy. Like he is our standout player. I think, and in our weakest position as well. So it's just not why sell him now. We can just he might throw his toys out the pram a little bit. He might his head might not be quite right for the first couple of months or whatever, but the interest will still be there in a year's time. He'll still get his move. He's still so young. Just just no, basically no. But obviously, if we do get a world record price and we end up with the two most expensive defenders in history, both come from Leicester, then so be it. You know, we can't complain with that, really, can we? It's like it's a good position to be in and a good shout to be able to make. But I just think just no, like we need him one more year and then let him go. And next summer, once these, you know, we'll be in a much better position to trim down the squad, strengthen, plan ahead, and yeah, get a replacement that's going to be a bit better than what we could do right now.
Yeah, no,
Can you imagine if we still had? You imagine if we still had Harry Maguire and we kept Wes Fofana, sorry, not Wes Morgan. Our back two then would be Fofana and Johnny Evans, wouldn't it, with Maguire on the bench?
I knew that was coming. I knew that.
Somebody's been spending too much air, but again, no matter even if Wes Fofana goes for like 200 million, Harry Maguire is still the best deal that's ever happened at Leicester City.
Yeah, I would say
$80
at the time we all knew we ripped Man United off, right? We all knew that. Like that was a ridiculous price. For Fofana, I'd say it's pretty much fair. Like you're getting a 21-year-old who is world class, or like so. I feel like that's a fair price. Whereas Maguire was, I mean, let's be fair, we absolutely ripped them off. So happy days.
Maguire was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
The thing is, as well, we all said it at the time, and all you got from United fans is, "Yo, you're bitter as anything. You just like stop crying and stuff." And it's like now you see it, it's like, what were we bitter or was we telling the truth? Johnny Evans was the better centre back, and none of them would have it. But
yeah, I was saying it. I think when we were playing to Man United fans, I think the first year that Soyuncu broke into the team, and I was thinking we're going to concede red cards. His head's going to go. And I was thinking, oh, this guy is looking great. Obviously, he's not hit them save level since. And I was saying to my United fans, I genuinely, if Harry Maguire was back in the team, he wouldn't get into the team. And Man United fans, the fans that I've been on the channels would be like, no, come on, he's not that good. But it's like, not that Soyuncu was amazing. He was great going forward and great aggressive wise. But the season, people forget the season before Man United bought him, Harry Maguire was 6 out of 10, 5 out of 10 for a lot of Leicester matches. I think his head was turned for a long period of time.
That we are so fortunate that the World Cup was when it was, because that put another 20-30 million on Harry Maguire.
Just that meme of him leaning on the side chatting to that girl. That's like 20 mil right there, just for that meme.
Took him half an hour to turn around afterwards.
Another 20. Another 20 mil for what's it called, for English tax as well. So we'll take that all the way to the bank as well. And just to bring it back again, so Owen confirmed again. Owen Palmer-Atkin, shout out BBC Radio Leicester, confirmed that there's been 2 bids from Chelsea. But again, as Mark was saying, every time they put a bid in, the price goes up a little bit more higher. That's beautiful. Love to see it. And also, we're quite fortunate as well that we don't just bend over and give in. And it's quite a few teams are doing it this year. Even Leeds recently have gone Jack Harrison, 45 million, which I'm again not worth 45 million, but I'm glad that because Newcastle will be up there eventually in a few years' time. But I'm glad even they're putting their feet in and going, we want to keep him, no problem. And even they're digging their heels in a little bit more. But yeah, it's great to hear. Apart from that, the thing is as well, obviously we've got a backline of Saliba. I think, and this will be a good test for Jamie Vardy and Saliba as well. Kind of welcome to the Premier League. Jamie Vardy is going to be, again, I think I'm looking at his average position, and his position, KDH and Maddison were actually further forward on average compared to Jamie Vardy this game, but again, still invaluable in this game as well.
Yeah, it's particularly a game that we're going to have to be good in transition from like defense to attack. So these are the kind of games that he'll thrive in. And as well as Saliba did against Crystal Palace, he was absolutely brilliant. Playing Vardy is a complete different test. It's like, it's not just he's quick, it's the fact the movements in behind, and he'll probably get a couple of elbows in the ribs and sort of that side of the game as well that he wouldn't get from Edouard, because Edouard's a bit of just a like clumsy hold-up striker that doesn't really offer a huge amount going forward. Vardy's going to be a huge test for him. So let's see how he gets on.
Yeah, let's see. I'm just trying to bring up the sofa score things at the moment. Again, just in terms of average positioning, I'm just trying to figure this out at the moment. But yeah, usually just lacking behind. I've just got his Dewsbury Hall as well. But in terms of that, again, Jamie Vardy barely Mark's kind of story of the last couple of years. Jamie Vardy had barely any touches of the ball, really.
Yeah, I thought it looked a bit rusty on Sunday. So obviously, beginning of the season, you might expect that a little bit. I don't think it's anything too long term or anything massive for us to worry about just yet. But look at his heat map there. He's barely been in the game, really, is he? When you compare it to Maddison and Dewsbury Hall, who've had so much more of the ball. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. I think 6.8 might have been a little bit generous, if anything, for his performance at the weekend. But he's the GOAT, isn't he? He'll be back. He'll do what he does and rustle those Gunners, I'm sure.
When does that, like, when teams come, especially to the King Power, and they sit with such a low block, when does Vardy ever really I love the guy, don't get me wrong. I absolutely love the guy. I have done for many years. But when the team comes to the King Power and plays with a low block like Brentford did for that first 60 minutes, it just doesn't play to his strengths at all. Like, unless we're like, getting to the byline and putting something across the box or something, like, it just doesn't play to his strengths. So he can stretch them a bit, he can run into the channels a bit. And looking at this heat map, he's tried that a little bit. But that's where, Maddison and Dewsbury all come into play, because they are getting the ball deeper and they have the, they're looking at the defense in front of them. So, but these games away to Arsenal's where they're expected to have more of the territory and more of the possession, that's where Vardy is a real threat, and that's where we need to play to his strengths. Like you said, Anne, in transition, get the ball up quickly, have him attacking on the shoulder, attacking the back line, and that's where Vardy can do his most amount of damage. So hopefully we'll see him doing that, and we'll play to his strengths so that we can worry Arsenal in behind and on the counter-attack.
Yeah, no, definitely agree. And I'm hoping to see the best out of him. One thing as well, Mark, just a reason why I've got Johnny Evans up. Look at his average positioning. I didn't realize how high it was for he's played pretty much on the goal, on the halfway line the entire time. Considering obviously he tracks back a lot as well, but his average positioning was so high. I didn't realize that until I was doing some research for the show. I mean, considering we conceded 2 goals, obviously he was tracking back a little bit more, but we're playing such a high line against Brentford.
I'm surprised first and foremost that Johnny Evans got the lowest score out of everyone on our team, apart from Danny Ward, which is extremely harsh, isn't it? But Amati better than Johnny Evans. But I think that shows with his positioning how much in control of the game we were and how much in control of the ball we were for the majority of the match, because we had total control over that game. It's criminal that we didn't pick 3 points up from that.
No, it really was. And it's good. I'm just hoping it's going to go back to bite us, because we tend to drop points to lower teams, then we'll go and beat, like last season. Then we go and beat what's it called? Go and beat Liverpool 1-0, and it's like it came out of absolutely nowhere. So we never make it easy for ourselves, So even looking at some of the formations again, even Wes Fofana again picking up a lot of the spot, it was very hard the pitch. We actually short the pitch again in general, Tom, for the majority of the game. Quite well. We shortened the pitch. We made sure that we could play our football. We were getting it wide to Castagna, and we were playing some great balls through the middle. We just couldn't bloody finish it off. And it's so annoying. But again, from the heat map, it doesn't tell you everything about the game, because obviously we conceded to. With this position, you expect Leicester to see out the game, but it is frustrating at the same time. But do you know what? We just got to move on now, and hopefully Arsenal's a better game, because I think the team, when it's a big club, you need to step up. It's going to be hot. It's going to be loud. Arsenal fans are all going to be in, because they've been on such a run over pre-season as well. It's our opportunity as Leicester fans and Leicester team to go, right, we need to get behind and we need to go, because it's a tough ground to go to in the form that they're in at the moment.
But even when we've been like at our best and they've been not great, like, to put it nicely, we've still struggled to go into the Emirates. It's never been a place that we've travelled to well, apart from when it was behind closed doors, which I think that becomes a little bit void now. You've got the fans backing. Because our only 2 real results that came there was the draw, where Vardy left a bit of a mark on Mustafi's face, and the goal last year. The 1-0, where, like, as well as we played that game and it was a tactical masterclass, Arsenal battered us for that game, and I think we had the one long ball over the top, and that's exactly what it could well be like on Sunday. But the thing is, on Sunday, we don't want to be chasing the ball for large periods of the game when it's as hot as it is. Like, even if we have the ball, and I know normally this winds Leicester fans up to the end of the earth, I won't mind seeing us passing it around the back a lot on Saturday, just possession for the sake of possession, making Arsenal chase the ball. Because what we don't want to be doing is chasing their shadows.
But we don't want to be doing it when we're 1 or 2-0 down, potentially as well. That's the thing. Yeah. So if we're in a position where we've got 1-0 up, we're 0-0, and we want to frustrate Arsenal, the crowd will turn on them. Fantastic. But again, that's what we're talking about, Mark. Just game management in terms of that. We don't want to be doing it. We've seen it before. Leicester are 2-0 down, and we're still passing it around the back. And you're just like, look, just knock it long. You know what Vardy's going to do. And it's as bad as it sounds. It's just about picking the right time and the right tactics to do stuff, because there could be something against there could be something that we could do, in my opinion, against Arsenal. But I think with all the with the pressure being off us, it helps us massively.
Yeah, of course. I really don't think there's any reason to fear Arsenal on Saturday. I said that before we came on air. I think the type of fixture will suit us a little bit more as well. You know, Vardy will get a little bit more space and a bit more freedom to play his natural game, and the lads should be up for it. They should all be frustrated after what happened at the weekend and want to put it right, because you look at these fixtures and you think, well, if we don't get 3 points or a good result on Saturday, we then go to Southampton, and after that it's Chelsea, and obviously we'll beat Man U because everyone beats Man U.
Don't say that.
Yeah, they're absolutely rubbish.
That is my fear. My fear is that if we don't win, we're not really expected to get much against Arsenal and Chelsea away, right? And then that piles a lot of pressure on Southampton at home. And my worry is that this is gonna start rolling onto a really bad start. And I don't want to be chasing again. Like last season, we didn't have a good start, and then we weren't bad in the second sort of half or towards the end of the season. But then you're already off the pace and you're trying to chase all the time. So my fear is that 5 games in we're going to be chasing, and I don't want to be in that position. So hopefully we can get something at Arsenal, we can beat Southampton, and then then it's not a bad start. We can build on it. But if we don't do that, then my fear, I'm a bit worried that we're going to be fighting against the tide a bit, like early doors.
Let's hope not. And again, final thoughts at all before we kind of close up now, because I think that's pretty much everything covered. I know you have to do a show, so make sure you go and follow Ant's channel. There's a link in the description. But yeah, anything else you want to say?
Yeah, just what I don't want to be saying on Sunday is, when we do our post match on here, is that we've rolled over and had our taken it. It's like, if we go there, we lose, and we have a right go at it and really put a performance in, then fine. But what I will be so disappointed if we just go there and roll over on Saturday.
Yeah, we can't afford to. Mark, again, thank you. Again, it's been ages since you come on, so I really appreciate you joining back in. I've left a link to your Twitter and your I think your podcast link as well. But feel free to plug away as part of that as well.
Yeah, listen to the podcast. It's good fun to be joined by 4 of your mates every week and chat about Leicester City, and sometimes Aston Villa, because one of them is a dirty Villa fan. But we forgive him that. But no, it's been really good to come on. I appreciate your time this evening, gents. It's been good.
No, we'd love to have you on again. I think you've had Ant on recently as well. So if you want a familiar face, there's Ant over there as well. Tom, again, thanks for coming on once again. Fancy season is back. So Fox's Fancy, feel free to plug away as well.
Yeah, firstly, big up all you guys. Like, seriously, the Leicester content that we've got going out on YouTube via all you guys' channels and the people who come on and contribute to your channels is top notch. And like, even though things might not be as positive as they could be with the club, like, it's still like following everything that you guys are putting out kind of keeps me going and keeps me close to everything that's going on. So big up you guys first and foremost, and thanks for bringing me on, Neil. It has been a while. I hope to come on more often as the season goes on. And yeah, in terms of my channel, yeah, obviously I focus on fantasy football. It's normally a Friday night show. I know that you guys, with the exception of Ant, are in the league, are in my podcast league, which has grown exponentially this year. And
you and join the bloody chat. Join it.
The thing is, I play fantasy for about the first 2 weeks, and then I just give up on it. So I thought this year I'm just not going to bother because I'll get fed up after 2 weeks of being rock bottom.
I think it's all the cash prizes you put up, Tom. That's why we've all joined.
That's true. There's certainly going to be a trophy. Whether, I might scrape the barrel, see what pennies I can pinch. But yeah, no, the channel's growing. Anyone who's interested, get involved. And yeah, we'll be doing a show tomorrow night, so keep an eye out. But yeah, nice one, Neil, and hopefully catch you guys again soon.
No worries. And ask Leicester City if you can borrow the Corridon Cup, because that's not going to be it's not going to be displayed, is it? So you might as well see if you can get that. So yeah, appreciate that. And I know you're live in 10 minutes or so as well.
I'm going to have to head off. Babs has just sent me a message. I'll see you in a sec.
No worries. Anyway, thank everybody for. Oh, okay, no worries. Thank everybody for watching. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and we'll see everybody for the post match. Again, we're away at Arsenal, so we'll try and do something the previous day, for the next day or something. But we'll see you all then. See you later. Goodbye.